Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. This video is again a continuation video of the topic animal classification. So we are going to look into subkingdom non-chordates today, which has 10 phylum. Let's take a recap again. Protozoa, Porifera, Cnidaria, Platyhelminths, Aschelminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata and Hemichordata. So let's start with phylum Porifera. Now these animals belonging to phylum Porifera, they are called as sponges because they bear numerous pores on their body, and those spores, they are called as ostia and oscula. Oscula is basically the uppermost pore. They have a large pore which helps them take in the water inside. Of course, these are aquatic animals and they live either in marine water or they are freshwater dwellers. These animals have a symmetrical body and they have special type of cells which is called as collar cells, and their body is supported by spicules or spongin fibers. Now these spicules, they are made up of calcium carbonate or silica. So these are the characteristics of phylum Porifera which you need to remember. Then the animals belonging to this particular phylum, they remain attached to the substratum, means they need a support to grow. Okay, and that is why they cannot locomote. They do not show any locomotion. That is why they are also called as sedentary animals. Sedentary means not moving much. Okay, these animals, they feed upon small organisms. How they take it inside? They take it inside along with the water through the pores like ostia and oscula. How they reproduce? They reproduce by budding, which is an asexual method, and sometimes by sexual method. Also, they are very good at regenerating. Okay, so examples include Cycon, Euspongia, Hyalonema, Euplectella, etc. Okay, so that's it about phylum Porifera. Moving on to the next phylum, that is phylum Cnidaria or Coelenterata. Now these animals have cylindrical or umbrella like body, as you can see. Just see jellyfish, it looks like umbrella. Hydra has a cylindrical body. These animals are again marine and they are, few of them are also freshwater dwellers. They are radially symmetrical and diploblastic. Their cnidoblasts bearing tentacles are present around the mouth. Tentacles, see the Hydra, you can see, right? Those projections which you can see on Hydra, they are tentacles. They are present around the mouth and they are useful for capturing the prey, means food basically. Whereas the cnidoblasts will inject toxin in the body of the prey, and that is why it is useful as a protection too. For example, Hydra, Adamsia, corals, jellyfish, etc. Moving on to the next phylum, that is Platyhelminths. These animals have slender and flat body, just like a leaf or a strip. That is why they are also called as flatworms. Their body is absolutely flat. These animals are endoparasites. Endo means inside and parasite means deriving nutrition from someone else. So they live inside the host's body and derive their nutrition. And few of them are free living and aquatic. Body is acoelomate, means their body do not have any cavity. There is no coelom. Bilaterally symmetrical and triploblastic, means made up of 3 germ layers. These animals are hermaphrodite, means they are bisexual. They have both the systems, reproductive systems, present in one animal body. For example, Planaria, liver fluke, tapeworm, and many others. So let's move on to the next, that is Aschelminths. Now here they are called as roundworms because they appear like long thread or they are cylindrical. Now again here they are either free living or endoparasites. We saw in platyhelminths they are also endoparasites, right? Here the free living animals are either terrestrial or aquatic. So either they live on the land or they live in water. These animals have triploblastic body and they are pseudocoelomate. Where in platyhelminths we saw that their body is acoelomate, means their body does not have any cavity. Whereas here the body has pseudocoelom, means false cavity. These animals do not show any segmentation and they are covered with a tough cuticle. Basically a covering is there which is called as cuticle. For example, Ascaris, filarial worm, Loa, etc. Next is phylum Annelida. These animals have long, cylindrical and metamerically segmented body. Right? Metamerically segmented body means their body is divided into equal segments. Right? You can see uniform segmentation there. Most of these animals are free living and few are ectoparasites, means they do not live inside the body of the host, they are out of the body of the host. For example, leech, it sucks blood from human body, right? So but leech does not live inside the human body, it will suck the blood from out of the body, so it is an ectoparasite. These animals are again triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical and eucoelomate. Eucoelomate means having true cavity. Pseudo was false cavity. Acoelomate was having no cavity. Okay. So eucoelomate means they have true cavity. They have parapodia, setae or suckers which helps them move or locomote. Also their body is covered with special cuticle and these animals are also hermaphrodite or unisexual. For example, earthworms, leech, nereis and many others. Moving on to the next phylum, that is Arthropoda. These animals have jointed appendages. That is why they are called as Arthropoda. This phylum has the highest number of animals on the planet Earth, right? Right from a cockroach to butterfly, all these animals are included in phylum Arthropoda and they have a varied range of habitat, right from deepest oceans to highest of the mountains. These animals have triploblastic body, they are eucoelomate, they are bilaterally symmetrical and segmented. There in case of Annelida it was metamerically segmented. This is segmented with jointed appendages. Followed, chitinous exoskeleton is present, means it has a covering which is called as chitin, again a carbohydrate, right, which provides structural support to the animals. These animals are unisexual. For example, crab, spider, scorpion, butterfly, cockroach, honeybee, etc. Moving on to the next phylum, that is phylum Mollusca. These animals have very soft and slimy body. That is why they are called as mollusk. This is the second largest phylum in animal kingdom. What was the first largest? Phylum Arthropoda. Okay. These animals are aquatic or terrestrial. Maybe they are living in water or on the land. These animals have triploblastic, eucoelomate, non-segmented and soft body. Wherein the previous two, that is Arthropoda and the Annelida, they have segmented body. Few animals, if we take as an exception like snail, their body shows bilateral symmetry, means they are bilaterally symmetrical. Also their body is divided into three parts, that is head, foot and visceral mass. So they have head, then there's foot, and the in between part which is called as visceral mass. That mass is covered with mantle. Now this mantle secretes a calcareous shell which protects the animal because their body is very soft. These animals are unisexual. For example, octopus, snail, bivalve, etc. Moving on to the next phylum, that is phylum Echinodermata. Their body has presence of calcareous spine on their body. That is why they are called as echinoderms, because they have spiny body. These animals are only found in ocean, right? Their body is triploblastic, eucoelomate, and it is radially symmetrical in adult stage, and they show bilateral symmetry in the larval stage. So they show two types of symmetry, that is bilateral and radial. In adult stage radially symmetrical, in larval stage bilaterally symmetrical. They perform locomotion with the help of tube feet. Tube feet also help them to capture the prey, like for taking in the food, or they want to capture a prey, they can use tube feet. Few animals are sedentary, means they do not show any movement. Also they have a very good ability of regeneration, right? In one more phylum we saw that they have a very good ability of regeneration. Can you think? Porifera, right? They also have a very good capacity to regenerate. These animals are mostly unisexual. For example, starfish, sea urchin, sea cucumber, brittle star, etc. Moving on to the next phylum, that is phylum Hemichordata. These animals have their body divided into three parts: proboscis, collar, and trunk, as you can see in the picture. Then notochord is present in the proboscis region only. That is why they are called as hemichordates. Hemi means half, right? Since the chord is present only in half of the region, it is called as hemichordate. They are also called as acorn worms. These are marine animals, live in burrows in sand. Also, they show the presence of pharyngeal gill slits. They are unisexual and few are hermaphrodite. For example, Belanoglossus and Saccoglossus. Followed, students? Thank you for watching the video.